Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to continue on with our Lecture 8 lessons. And just to quickly recap some of the key concepts from last class, the ones that you have to know for today's lessons, anyways, um, are the following terms. Okay, so we know we have two sets of chromosomes that makes us diploid organisms. And there's one chromosome and we would have another chromosome that would be the same length, same size, and contains the same type of genetic information. These chromosomes, as you may recall, are called homologous chromosomes. Okay, so we have 23 pairs of homologous chromosomes if we're talking about female. XX are homologous. Males only have 22 pairs of homologous chromosomes. X and Y are not homologous. They are actually quite different. And on the chromosomes, we would have the genes. Okay, so over here, the gene may be big B over here and small b here. If they are different versions of the gene, then we say the person is heterozygous, okay, or hybrid for this gene. And we would say big B, small b. Okay, this is the genotype. And the expression of the genotype, as in what does it turn out to look like on the person. So let's say this is brown eyes and blue eyes, and big B, small b is going to be brown eyes. Then this is called a phenotype. Phenotype. Now note, one of the allele is is represented by a capital letter. This is what we call the dominant allele. And this one, that's lowercase, we call it the recessive allele. So when a person has both the dominant and the recessive allele at the same time, only the dominant will show up. And so even though there's brown eyes and blue eyes allele here, the person will still have brown eyes. And the blue eye allele is kind of suppressed. It's kind of override and it's not going to show up basically. Okay? You might have another gene here, right? Small c for, whatever. It's just use big C, curly hair. And because they are the same allele, right? This is called homozygous, aka pure. Whether you are hybrid for one gene or not has nothing to do with whether you're hybrid or not for another gene. They are independent of each other. Okay, it's like you flipping a coin and I flip a coin. Whether you get heads or tails has no effect on whether I'll get heads or tail. Same concept here. One gene has nothing to do with another, generally speaking. Okay, we can have like little d here and little d, and this one would also be homozygous. So that's where we left off. Any questions about any of the terms on the screen before we do the genetics problem? If this is the first time, yes, sure, go ahead. There's a question. Oh, not related to this? Sure, ask anyways. Is it related to the lab? Anyway, ask whatever questions you have, just ask. I'm looking at the chat, okay, in case you guys wondering why I'm talking to myself. Okay, while I wait for the question to show up, the next quiz is going to be lecture 8 and 9, and there are quite a bit of problem solving And that those problems involve you typing out the answers and all that. I'll show you how to do it today, but I will encourage you to pay extra attention as we solve these problems, especially if this is the first time you're learning about it. Um, Please, ask me things if you're confused. If you learned this before, it should be a good refresher. Right? That's okay. All right, just send me an email, right? And then I'll you know, get it sorted out for you. Okay? I can. Yeah. Okay. Great. There we go. All right. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay. There's another question. What does it mean to independent assortment? Yeah. We're gonna get to that in a. Do we have that today? Yes, it's coming up. All right. Good question. We haven't learned the independent assortment and the segregation yet. We will. So much of the work that was done by Mendel. Mendel was is this guy. Let me just flash his picture for you briefly. There is Mendel. Right? He did a lot of experiment with peat plants. Okay, peat plants like the frozen pizza you buy from the supermarkets. Okay, we are used to seeing the green ones. To be honest, I've never seen the yellow ones. Okay, but they exist. Right? And whether they're green or yellow actually is genetically determined. So this guy Mendel, he experimented with pea plants a lot to try to understand the principles of inheritance. Okay, um, he is the one who figured out that certain traits are dominant and certain traits are recessive, and only some of the features can be passed on to the next generation. Okay. So this is like a summary of his work, and he found out that, for example, the seeds can be round or wrinkle, and brown is the dominant trait. Okay. The color yellow is dominant over recessive, and then so on and so forth. So there is a bunch of characters here that he studied, much like humans, right? Brown eyes, blue eyes, curly hair, straight hair, dimples, no dimples, freckles, no freckles. All these different characteristics has dominant and recessive traits. Okay, so he picked to work with peat plants. Okay, in case you can't understand through my accent, peat. Okay, peat plants, um, is because they are easy to breed. You can just take a brush, I guess, and you can collect the pollen, and then you can breed whatever plant you like. And they grow pretty fast. You don't need to wait for a long time before the new generation comes up. So, in any scientific studies, if you're able to see the outcome in a shortened time frame, that's always idealistic. Okay. Like you wouldn't want to study this in humans necessarily for the human to completely grow up. It would take like, 18 years or whatever, right? And also you cannot deliberately breed one person with another person, right? As an extreme, I'm saying. Like even with animals, it's not an ideal choice. Sure, you can try to breed them together, but then the animals takes a long time to grow up, right? So plant is the most straightforward organism to work with. Okay, so let's take a look at his first law here, and I'm just gonna copy it over from the PowerPoint slides. Um, Actually, I'm going to be doing much of it over here on the notes here. Um, 1 second. There we go. This is called the law of segregation. Law of segregation. Segregate means to separate, basically. Okay, I'll read it to you and then I'll explain to you in plain English. During the formation of gametes, each gene separates from each other so that each gamete carries only one allele for each gene. That's the official definition. But it's not difficult to understand. Let's say we go back to someone who has like a big B on one chromosome and then a small b on another chromosome, right? So we learned meiosis last time. We learned the process of generating gametes. And we know, let's say producing the gamete here, this is gamete. Okay, it's not sperm and egg in plants, it's pollens, right? Okay. So when you produce the gametes can only carry either the big B or the small b. Okay. It's not possible. I mean, it is possible to carry both, but that's like an error, right? We call that non-disjunction, if you remember. Under normal conditions, when organisms produce their gametes, even though you have two alleles, they will separate, right? And the gametes will only get one of the two alleles. And that's what the law of segregation means. Okay? Even though you're a diploid, you can only pass on one of those two alleles. Okay? All right. So let's take a look at his experiment. So what he did uh, was that he took um, a pea plant with round seed and a pea plant with wrinkle seed. Okay. Now you got to understand that when I explain this to you, like I already know the results. Okay. But when he did the experiment, he didn't know the results. Okay. He didn't know whether round is dominant or whether wrinkle is dominant. Okay. But he knew, I guess, past tense, he knew there were two types of peats, seed, the round kind and the wrinkle kind. And what he did was he bred plants that have round seeds with plants that have wrinkle seeds. Okay? And as far as he knew, these are pure, pure round and pure wrinkle. Okay? What that means is for the round seed, both alleles are the same, and for the wrinkle seeds, both of them are the same. Well, how did he know they're pure? I mean, you cannot look at the gene directly. Even if you look at it, like how do you know if it's like big R or small r, right? So uh, he based this information on the fact that the plant with the round seed has been producing round seed plants for many generations. Okay, so it's a safe assumption that it is pure. Same thing. The wrinkle seed plant has been producing wrinkle seed for many generations, and so it's safe to assume that it is pure. All right. So that's called a P generation, P for parent. Then we're going to look at the F1 generation. F1 is the first generation that comes from the parent, okay? Offsprings of the parents, I guess, parents. So over here, pure round is big R, big R. Okay. Again, he didn't know it was dominant, but since we know, I'm going to put big R here. And then for the wrinkle, it is small r, small r. Now this over here, this is called a Punnett square. Punnett square. Okay? Punnett square. And it's something that we use to solve these genetics problems. So later on, we'll draw like a simpler version of this. But over here, we have one parent, and then here we have the other parent. Now this parent is pure for the gene, and it's big R and big R. So what kind of gametes can they produce? Well, it either contains big R or big R. There is no other possibility. Similarly, for the wrinkle seed, it's going to be small r and small r like that. So what if this pollen fertilizes that egg? What if these two gametes come together? Then what do we have for the offspring? Well, the offspring is going to have one big R and one small r. Similarly, if you take this big R and we put it right there, and take the small r, and then we're going to bring it over here like that. Okay, and then we repeat the process. And you can see for the F1 generation right here, all these here are the possible outcomes for the babies for the F1 generation. And what do you see? Well, we see that it is going to be 100% big R, small r. This is the genotype. And what about the phenotype? Do you think these plants, these F1 plants, will have round seed or wrinkle seed? What do you think? So round or wrinkle? Well, capital R is round and small r is wrinkle. So when you have both alleles, the capital one will override the small letter. So all these will be round. Okay. So that's how he knew round is dominant over wrinkle because he did this several times. And every time you take a pure round and you breed it with a pure wrinkle, you will always get round plants in the first generation. That's how he knew round is dominant over wrinkle. Okay, let me ask you again. Okay, let's say he took yellow plant and then he bred it with the green plants, and 100% of them turns out to be yellow. What can you conclude? It's yellow dominant or is green dominant? Right? Yellow is dominant, right? So basically, if you start with pure parents, and you should write this down. If both parents are pure for a character is like flower color, you know, eye color, hair color, you know, freckles, no freckles. These things that can be passed on, okay? If both parents are pure for a character, the F1 generation will all have the dominant character. Okay? If both parents are pure for a character of the dominant character, how should I phrase this? If both parents are pure uh for um for a character like AA and AA, big A, small a, the F1 generation will all have the dominant character. They will be big A, small a, but the dominant will always cover it up. It will always show up. All right. So freckles, Mary, no freckles. All the kids have freckles. What does it mean? It means freckles is dominant over no freckles. That's the point I'm trying to get across. Okay. Questions? So that's what he did. That's what he did. He crossed, inflated parts with constricted parts, and everything turns out to be inflated. So they're like, oh, inflated is dominant. They cross pink flower with white flower. Everything turns out to be purple. Sorry, purple, I mean, purple flowers, and purple flower is the dominant. All right, so you don't have to memorize this chart. The question will always tell you or give you information to allow you to figure out which one is dominant and which one is recessive. Okay, so we are only tracking one character at a time. We call these monohybrid crosses. Okay, keeping track of one character only. And later today, we'll keep track of two characters. That's going to drive you bananas, but we'll get there. Okay, here we go. He then took two individuals from F1 and crossed them. Okay, that's another advantage, right? Like you don't do that with animals. It's like inbreeding, right? Here we have Plants are okay. So we take two individuals from F1. That this is from F1 and this is from F1. Okay, I just want to emphasize both are from F1, the first generation. So what's the genotype here for the F1 plant? Well, 100% of them were big R, small r. So this plant, this is from F1, that's big R, small r. This one is also big R, small r. It doesn't matter which plant you put where. But over here, what are the possible gametes? Well, half of the gamete will have the big R and the other half will be small r. Similarly, big R and small r. I'll give you a moment to fill out the Punnett square and I'll take it up. Right. If you're not sure how to fill this in, please send me a message and then I will explain it one more time. All right, so here we go. We are going to take this R and then put it here, and we're going to take this R and then we're going to put it here, and we will have big R, big R. Similarly, thank you for all the answers coming in. Similarly, we can take this big R here and then this one. Please put the big R before the small r. Okay, capital first before the little one. Bring this big R down, small r over, small r, small r. Let's list the genotype. Big R, that is 1 out of 4, which is 25%. 2 out of 4 are big R, small r, that is 50%. And finally, small r, 25%. Do you understand how I come up with the genotype? All right. Phenotype. Can someone tell me the percentage for the phenotype? Anyone at all? What is this? Is this round or wrinkle?
Round.
That is round. What about the big R, small r? Is that round or wrinkle?
Round.
That's right. So both of these are round. And 25% plus 50% is 75%. Right? And then this one is just wrinkled, which is 25%. Okay? Not brown. Okay, this is wrinkle and round. Okay, it's not always the brown or blue, right? Like this is talking about different traits, so please be careful. But I think you get the right idea. Okay, we'll do a few more examples. And hopefully you will get it. Okay. If red flower is dominant over white flower for a certain type of orchid, write the genotype for the following flower. Okay, so we use capital letter for the dominant trait. Okay, red is dominant, right? So we just put capital R. And then over here, this is white. And we use the lowercase. Do not ever use different letters for different for the dominant and for the recessive. Okay. Don't use R for red and W for white. Okay. Capital letter for the dominant and then the same letter but lowercase for the recessive. Do you understand? I know I keep on asking you that. Sorry, it's a bad habit. Okay, let's say yellow is dominant over green. What letter do I use for yellow?
Capital Y.
Capital Y, there you go. For green, okay. If you think G, that's wrong. Okay, we have to say lowercase y.
Lowercase.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Someone asked, can we always use big R and small R? No, 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 no. Don't do that. Okay. Because then when we do two characters at the same time, then you need to have different letters. Okay. Now some of you have messy writings, and even though you don't have to, hand in the words to see for me, um, but like on your rough work when you're solving the questions, like I've seen people do silly things. Okay, like if you're gonna write big Y and small y, do it like that. Okay, some people do big Y and small y like that, and then after a while they can't even tell whether it's big or small. Okay, and don't use O. Okay, O is not a good letter to use. Okay, because again, sometimes you get confused, and then you're like, is it a O? Is it big O, small O? Is that a zero? Okay, just use things that are distinct between the big one and the small one. Okay. Already, homozygous red. What is homozygous red? Well, homozygous means the same, and it's a red flower, so it must be big R, big R. How about homozygous white? What is homozygous white? Homozygous means the same, and white is W, little r, little r. Okay. I'm sorry. Here, I should have, instead of putting just dominant and recessive, I should probably put red here and white here. Okay. That's probably better. Okay. White. There we go. Okay. What about heterozygous red flower? What is heterozygous red flower? Heterozygous means not the same. And so it must be big R and small r. How about heterozygous white flower? What is a heterozygous white flower? Nothing. Okay, I think what you mean is not possible, right? Not possible. Okay, so heterozygous means different, which means one is big R, one is small r. But if that's the case, it wouldn't be white. It would be a red. Okay, so this is not possible. It's like asking you to draw a circular square. It's not possible, okay? It's conflicting statement. But that brings out an important point. If I say white flower on the test, if I tell you red is dominant over white, and then I say white flower, I don't actually have to tell you whether it is homozygous white or heterozygous white. Since white is recessive, then white is always homozygous. Okay. All right, let's do another question here. Consider a type of orchid where red flower allele is dominant over the white one. Predict the phenotype and the genotype of the F1 generation. I'll do this one with you, and then you can try the next one. It's always nice when the question gives you the letters. If not, you will have to come up with it yourself. So hybrid red. What is a hybrid red? Well, hybrid red is big R, small r. Hybrid is same as heterozygous. I wrote it down for you earlier today, but here it is again. Is crossed. Cross means to breed with white flower. And like I said, I don't have to tell you whether it's pure white or hybrid white. White is the recessive. That means the only way to be white is pure. Right? Can only be homozygous, aka pure. So then we're going to do the Punnett square right here. Okay, it's like doing the tic-tac-toe. It doesn't matter which parent goes top or on the side. So let's say I put this here, big R, small r, and then this goes here. Half the gamete will be that, and actually the other half is the same. I am going to combine these two alleles together. This one goes with this one. This and this goes together. And this goes together. Genotype, 50% big R, small r. 50% little r. What's the phenotype? What color are these flowers? Red or white?
Red.
That's right, 50% red. And then 50% white. Genotype is what their alleles are. Phenotype is what they actually look like.
White.
Yep, 50% white. That's right. Any questions? Okay, try this one, please. Try it out. Send me your answers. Okay, finish the question. Figure out the F1 generation. All right, let's take this up. Pure red flower. That would be big R, big R. Pure is the same. Red is capital. And white is the recessive, so it can only be pure. And we do the Punnett square. Punnett square. Okay, again, doesn't matter which parent you put on the side and which one you put on the top. Big R, small r. Big R, small r. And it turns out to be 100% big R, small r. That's the genotype. And 100% red. Remember, if we start with pure parents, all of the F1 will be having the dominant trait. Okay. Now, on the quiz, you will have to solve these problems. Okay, so quiz for which is not going to happen until like April 7th. Uh, when is April 7th? April 7th is next. Oh yeah, next week. Okay, so we this is a long way. Okay, but I want to show you. There's a practice genetic problems. This is not the. I mean, it's only two questions. The point is not for you to practice on how to solve it. Okay? For that, you can use the study guide. The point is for you to practice how to enter the answer. Okay, so let me switch to student preview here. You already have access to it, by the way. Okay. Um, let's see if it's gonna go. So you gotta scroll all the way down to the quiz and then practice genetic problems. I already tried it 2 times this morning just to see if it works. And then you go start attempt. And there's the question. Okay. So you can key in the answer. And this is how I want you to do it. And you can practice doing it. I mean, you can have paper and try to work it out. And then of course you have to take pictures and show me afterwards. But I'm only marking what you are typing into the box. Okay, so it says here in mice, gray coat, as in like the fur that they have, okay, is dominant to white coat. So this is the first thing I would type out, okay? Or like again, you can write it out first before you type. So what letter should I use for the coat color? Should I use capital G, capital W, big G, big W, small g, small w? Like what am I supposed to use here based on the first sentence? Help me out.
Capital G and small g.
Excellent. So you put big G is gray coat, and then small g is white coat. Okay, so I see that. I'm like, okay, good. That's like 1 mark or 0.5 probably. The person knows what letter to use. And then we keep on reading. Determine the possible genotypes and phenotypes along with their proportions. Proportions means percentage, okay? I don't mean ratio, percentage. For the offspring results from a cross between a heterozygous gray and a white mouse. So you can copy it if it's easier. Control C to copy and then you paste it here. Heterozygous gray. What is heterozygous gray? What's the genotype here? Okay, well, heterozygous is different. So big G, small g, and then the white mouse is small g, small g. So you're like big G, small g, cross, small g, small g. Okay, so up to here, 1 mark. Then you're gonna do the Punnett square. Again, you don't have to do it on the screen. Write it out first. In fact, probably writing it out first is easier. And then you just have to key it in for me. Now, I don't know if you can see all these icons. Sometimes they don't all show up, but this one, it will show up. This one, okay? Look at it. This one here, you click on it, and you know, you have a bunch of stuff here, and you want to choose the table one. Okay, if you don't already see the table button, you click on this guy, and then the table button will show up. Okay, but I already have the table button here. Again, sometimes it doesn't show up. I don't know why. Then you click on this one. Anyway, so the table is like this. You want a 3 by 3 table in this case. And then you just fill in the Punnett square. Big G, small g, small g, small g. You understand? Big G, small g on the side, small g at the top. Again, it doesn't matter. You can swap the location here. It's not going to affect your answer. And then you just type in your answers. Okay? So there you go, Punnett square, another mark. And then you go genotype. Genotype. 50% big G, small g, 50% small g, small g. Phenotype, 50% gray and 50% white. That's all. Okay, again, you can write it out first. It's fine. But you gotta type in the answer for me. Do you understand what I want you to do? Okay, thank you. I will make sure you have enough time. I don't think any of you ran out of time last time, okay? Actually, you know what? You guys did okay. It's not it's not I mean some of you didn't do okay for sure. But then overall as a class, I mean the grades for people didn't drop substantially. Right? So which is good, which means you guys were actually studying without relying on your note too much before. Okay. You should see my other class. The other class is not doing as well as you guys. But that one is second semester, so maybe that make a difference. Anyways, that's that. All right. And then you save the answer. And then there's a second question, but you don't know how to do this yet. We will come back to it. All right, here we go. We're gonna switch gear and talk about something else for a moment. Okay, we're gonna talk about a pedigree. Pedigree. Uh, hold on, hold on. There we go. That's the thing I'm looking for. Okay, so pedigree. 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 Pedigree is a family tree, basically. It can get pretty complicated, but I'll just give you the basic. Square is male. Circle is female. If you connect them sideways, that means they're gonna have babies together. Okay. So one son and one daughter. Who are these? Siblings. Okay. So that's if they're on the same row, then it's same generation. Okay. So let me try again here. You don't have to draw this, okay? Like I just want to see if you guys are paying attention. Who are these people? What's the relationship between them?
I mean, relatives?
They're relate. Yeah, sure, relatives, yes. But what
Cousin,
cousins? There you go. Cousins. They are cousins. Okay? Who are what's the relationship between this one and this one? Who's this? Who is this to that person? What should this person call that person?
daughter-in-law,
Really?
and
Grandchild?
Grandchild. That's right.
auntie.
Yeah, this is grandmother. You see that? Okay. So let me help you guys out, okay? This is one generation, right? So generation 1. This is generation 2, generation 3. Okay. So this is grandmother and grandfather, and then they have a daughter and a son. The daughter marries another guy. Marries a guy, sorry, not not another. Marries a guy, and then had 2 sons, right? Over here, the son marry a woman, and then they have a daughter. Now, what do we call these people? Well, this is generation 1, and this is the first one on the pedigree. So this is 1-1. This is 1-2. Okay, this is 2-1, 2-2, and so on and so forth. Okay. So what's the relationship between 3-1 and 2-3? 3-1 and 2-3. What's the relationship?
I think mom and like son or daughter.
2-3 is right here though, right? This is
Oh,
2-3.
oh, that one. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. 2-3, 2-4. Yeah. Yeah, uncle, that's right. This is the uncle of this one. Okay. So 3-1 is the nephew of 2-3. Do you understand, guys? Okay. So maybe draw your own family tree and then, play around with it. If they are open circle and open square, not filled in, then they do not exhibit the trait we are looking at. Okay. If we have a square that's shaded in, then this means the person exhibit, they have, okay, they exhibit the trait of interest. Okay, whatever the trait is. It could be, widow peak. It could be a particular disease, sickle cell anemia. Okay. But if you shade it in, then the person has it. If it's not shaded in, then the person does not have it. All right. And this next part can be confusing. So pay extra attention. This is pedigree. Right here. We're looking at this one. This is a pedigree. And based on this inheritance pattern, I want you to tell me whether the trait we're looking at is a dominant trait or if it's a recessive trait. Okay? We want to look at whether it's dominant or recessive. All right, so let's see. Nobody has this trait in the first generation. Okay, maybe I'll make up a trait to so that it's easier to keep track. Um, okay, let's say we have what kind of trait should I say here? Maybe a long nose. Okay, this is just made up. Okay, like an extra long nose, longer than ordinary. Okay, so we see only 3 people in the family has the very long nose. No one else has it. So is the long nose a dominant trait or is it a recessive trait? That's the question. Okay? So this guy's long nose, this guy long nose, this guy long nose. No.
Recessive.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Let's find out. Okay. So let's say that this is a recessive trait, right? Let's assume. Don't write it down. Just listen to my explanation and see. Okay. Let's assume it is recessive. Assume it is recessive. Then that means this person is it's gonna be like little l, right? Little l, little l, little l, little l. Like recessive. So where does the little L come from? Well, the little L has to come from one from each parent, right? One from each parent, right? And then since the parents don't have it, they must be big L like that. So that seems like a reasonable explanation, right? Same thing here. Big L, small l, big L, small l. Okay, so long nose is little l, little l. Okay? But so that's the right answer. Okay? But some people say dominant. Let's try. Let's see what dominant would mean. Okay. So if this is dominant, that means to have this trait, the person must have at least one capital allele, right? Now, if there's one capital allele, I don't know what the other one is. Okay, it could be another capital L, it could be a small l. But over here, if there's one capital L, that means this big L must came from either the father or the mother, which means one of these people must have a big L. And if this is a dominant situation, having a single big L is going to give you the long nose. But as you can see, he doesn't have the long nose. And for this reason, it is not possible for this particular trait to be dominant. Do you understand?
Can you repeat?
Sure. If we say this is dominant, do you agree this person must have a capital letter?
Yes, I do.
And do you then understand that the capital L must have come from the father or the mother?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say it came from the father, right? The father has a big L, and for dominant trait, if you have one of the dominant allele, you will have the trait. So it's not possible for the father to have a big L and yet not the long nose. You understand that? The
Yeah,
father,
yeah, I
yeah,
understand now.
yeah, right. The father doesn't have the long nose. So this
Mm-hmm.
cannot be dominant. This cannot be dominant.
Yeah, okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. So this is recessive. Okay. And also, generally speaking, recessive tends to skip generations. Okay. They tend to skip generation. Okay? It shows up in one generation and then it's like gone. Look at here. The great grandparents don't have it, and then the grandparents generation they have it, and nobody has it here, and then it shows up again. Okay, so this skipping of generation tends to um, be a trend for recessive. Okay, but the giveaway hint, the giveaway sign, okay, whatever you want to call it. Okay, on a test, what are you looking for? If you see two parents not having the tray, and then one of the kids, one of the children has it, then this is definitely not dominant. Okay, definitely not dominant. Okay, not dominant, and therefore it's recessive for the reason I explained to you. Okay, it is recessive. Now I am only talking about autosomals, right? So chromosome 1 to 22. It's more complicated than that. It can also be passed on to sex from the sex chromosome. But on the test, I'll only ask you whether it's autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive. Okay, how about this one? Okay, lots of people have it. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, let's pretend it is recessive. Pretend it's recessive. So if it's recessive, this would be little r, little r, little r, little r. Okay, as opposed to big R, right? Okay. But if you think about it, both parents are little r, little r, little r, little r, little r, like this. And you do the Punnett square, then 100% is going to be little r, little r. That means, if both of them had long nose and long nose is recessive, then everybody is going to be little r, little r. But this kid does not have it. Even though they have the same genotype, this person doesn't have it. So it tells you it cannot be recessive, right? If it's recessive and both parents has it, everybody is going to have it. The fact that one of the kids does not have it, despite both parents having it, tells you that this is dominant. Okay. So again, what are you looking for? The giveaway. The giveaway sign. If you see this in the pedigree, you can call it. Both parents have it, but one of the kids not have it. All right. I'll type it out for you for this one. If both parents do not have the trait, but at least one of their children does, then it is recessive. All right, over here. If both of the parents have the trait, but at least one of their children does not have it, then it is dominant. All right. I You don't have to write down now. I'll post it. You can write later. I think I have some practice here. Okay, lots of practice questions, by the way, with answers. So please work on them. All right here. Okay, I hope you didn't see the answers. Okay, I'm just gonna take one of them. You can try the other ones. All right, I'm gonna do the poll. Do you think it is dominant or recessive? Go for it. I only have 7 answers. Where are the rest of you? That's okay. We'll move on. You can see both parents don't have it, but one of their kids has it. So let's see. If both parents do not have it, but at least one of the children has it, then it is recessive. The answer is recessive. Okay, there you go. Questions before we move on to the harder stuff. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take away your break again today. We have lots to go through. But questions? No questions. All right. So that's it for monohybrid. Next, we're gonna do dihybrid cross. A dihybrid cross. And hold on, let me see. Yep, there are a couple things we have to go through first here. Okay. So dihybrid cross is keeping track of 2 traits at the same time. Keeping track of 2 traits at the same time, simultaneously. So we can have like round and wrinkle, and then yellow and green. We're looking at two things at the same time. So let's write some letter. Let's look at the seed shape. What alphabet should we use to represent the seed shape? We have two shape here, round shape and wrinkle shape. What should we use for each? Round? What should we use for round?
Capital R, capital G.
Capital R is round. That's right. Capital R is round. And wrinkled,
No.
wrinkled,
Smaller.
small R.
Smaller.
That's right. What about seed color? What should I use for seed color?
Capital
Capital. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Y and small.
Y. Yeah, that's right. And green would be small y. All right. So if you have a plant that's pure round and yellow, that would be big R, big R, big Y, big Y. And then if you have a plant that's pure wrinkled green, pure wrinkled is little r, pure green is little y, little y. All right, that's that. So let's look at Mendel's second law. The first law was the law of segregation, which basically states that the alleles will separate and the gametes will only get one of the alleles, even though you started with two. And here, I'll just read it to you first. The alleles of two or more different genes get sorted into gametes independently of one another. Right? So what does it mean? Well, let's say the person is big A, small a, and then the other one is big B, small b. We have two alleles here, okay? Two alleles for A and two alleles for B, actually. Two separate genes that we're looking at. Let's say we're talking about sperms here. Okay. How many different kinds of sperms can the person produce? Well, the capital A and the B, capital B, big A, B can be together. Okay. But the big A can be in the same gamete as the small b. Similarly, we can have small a and big B or small a and small b. Right? So there are four possible combinations. Right? So what does the law of independent assortment means? It means whether you get the big A or small a for one gene is not going to affect whether you get big B or small b in the same gamete. That's why there are four different combinations. Okay. You get the big A doesn't necessarily mean you have to get the big B. It could be a big A, big B, or big A, small b. Similarly, if you get the small a, it does not necessarily mean you have to get the small b. You can get the big one or the small one. That's why it's called independent assortment. What you get for one gene does not affect what you get for the next gene. Okay. So let's try. What if I have big A, small a, and big B, big B, big B? What kind of gametes are possible for someone with this genetic makeup? Heterozygous for A and homozygous for B. What are the possible gametes? Have you guys done these things in math yet? Like, did you guys learn this at all in math? Like where you have to expand the thing, or no? Yes? Yeah. This is like that, okay? This is like the math stuff. It's called like distributive property, right? Or like FOIL. I think that's what you guys call it in math. So same thing. Big A can combine with big B. Okay. And then look, big A with big B, again, it's the same thing. I don't need to write it twice. Okay. And then for the other one. Okay. Let's not talk about the percentage. I don't want to confuse you. This has nothing to do with percentage, actually. Okay. And please write the letters as they show up in the original. Okay. So like don't do AB for some and then BA for the other. It's gonna confuse yourself. You're gonna confuse yourself. All right. Let's do something harder. Okay, how many possible types of gametes can we have? Now we have three separate genes, three separate genes. Okay, and all of them are heterozygous. How many different alleles? All right, let's do a poll. How many possible gametes can we have? Now, if you're trying to list all of them out and count, I mean, it's okay, but it's not the right way of doing it. Okay? Hmm. All right, let me help you out here. Okay. So the gamete, first of all, how many letters will be in the gamete? We are tracking three separate genes. How many letters?
3.
Three letters. That's right. You're gonna have to have one A, you're gonna have to have one B, and you're gonna have to have one C, right? But then what makes them different is whether it's like capital A or it's lowercase a and so on and so forth. Right? So how many choices do you have for the A's? Well, it's big A or small a. There are two choices. You also have two choices for B and two choices for C. So we multiply them together and we have 8 different possibilities. The answer is 8. Now, if you want to see them all, you can look at it like this. You can have big A or small a, and each of the big A, like whether it's big A or small a, you can combine it with a big B or a small b. Big B or small b. And then you can also combine with a big C or small c. Big C or small c. Big C, small c, big C, small c. So for example, over here, you're gonna have big A, big B, big C. That's one possibility. This is another possibility. Big A, big B, small c. And the next one, big A, small b, big C, right? And so on and so forth. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to list them all out on a test or something, okay? But you should know how to figure out the number of combinations. Let's try one more over here. Okay, in fact, I think I have it in the PowerPoint slides. Um, Over here. Let's just quickly go through them. Okay, we'll do two of these questions. How many different types of gametes here? I'll do this one with you, and then you try the next one, okay? For gene A, how many choices do we have?
2.
Yep, big A or small a. and then big B or small b. And what about for C? How many choices do we have for gene C?
Only one.
Only one, that's right, because it's homozygous. Okay, you are only going to be able to get a big C. Nobody has a small c. And then for D is 2 and then 1. And we multiply together. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 1 times 2 times 1 is 8. You can bring a calculator if you want. Okay, it's fine for the test, for the quiz test. Now listen, if you're if you're stuck on the test and you don't know whether to multiply or to add, for biology, for the stuff we're learning, 9 out of 10 times is going to be multiply. Okay. Like obviously understand it. That's great. Okay. But like if you're stuck at a point and you don't know what to do, you have a bunch of numbers, you don't know if I should multiply them or add them, multiply is your best bet. Okay. All right. This one, I am hopeful more people will get it right this time. Go, go, go. All right. So it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. It's 2 times 2, like 5 times, so 2 to the 5, and that is 32. Okay, I feel better because most all of you who answered got it right, and that is good. Okay, we're gonna do one more thing. Maybe I don't know, it depends. Okay, probably just one more thing. So, back to Mendel, the person who did the experiment on all these things. Um, he was not finished after the monohybrid stuff. So he did some dihybrid experiment. Okay, so what he did was this. Okay, this is P generation. Please write down. Okay, this is a big note, okay? It's gonna take some space, so make sure you have enough space. P generation. What I mean is, some of you print out the notes and you try to cram it all on the side. This is not one of those things, okay? You need a lot of space. P generation. P generation, he had pure round and pure yellow. Again, how did he know the plant is pure round and pure yellow? He looked at several generations and it's always round and always yellow. So it was safe assumption that it was pure round and pure yellow. This is pure wrinkle and pure green. Okay, we already established round is dominant over wrinkle and yellow is dominant over green, which means this is big R, big R, big Y, cross with little r, little r, little y, little y. Okay. So, let's take a look at here. What are the gametes? What are the gametes that can be produced by this parent here? How many possibilities?
2?
2 possibilities, are you sure?
I'm not actually.
That's okay. Anyone else?
Oh, we are going to multiply, right? Alright.
Okay, just this one. Just this one. Wait, don't look
Oh,
at
okay,
this.
okay.
Okay, just this parent over here. How many possible gametes? Okay, I have 8. I have 4. Anyone else?
4, I think.
Yeah, 4. Anyone else? But you guys got all of it right on the on the poll question. I was so excited. And now I'm heartbroken. Samuel said 1. That's right, it's 1.
One.
Okay. 1. Look, how many choices for the R? 1. How many choices for the Y? 1. And what do I do with these numbers? If you don't know what to do with it, multiply, okay? 1 times 1, 1. So what's the only possible gamete for this plan here? What's the only possible gamete?
R, Y, capital R, capital Y.
That's it. Right? Capital R and capital Y. That's all. There's no other possible combinations. There's no little r. There's no, little y. Look, you can do this. Big R, big Y, big R, big Y, big R, big Y, big R, big Y. Right? Cross. How about here? What's the possible gametes for this plan?
Smaller, small, small, right?
There you go. Small r, small y. There is nothing else. Okay? So when we do our Punnett square for F1, it is going to be big R, big Y, and small r, small y here. And then when we do it together, it's like this. Big R, big Y, small y, like so. And remember, we have to keep track of 2 traits at the same time. So 100% big R, big Y, small y, 100% round and yellow. Okay, it's the same theme I was trying to explain to you earlier. If both parents are pure for all their genes, only the dominant phenotype will show up in the F1 generation. Okay, none of them is going to be wrinkled, none of them is going to be green, because those are the recessive traits, right? Okay, next, this is where it's going to get complicated. I was going to say interesting, but no, it's not interesting. It's complicated. There's F2. F2 means you're going to take 2 individuals from F1 and we're going to cross them. So we're going to have big R, big Y, small y, cross the same thing. Okay, I'm going to give you a moment to write out the gametes. And then I'm going to do something on the side here. Just write out the gametes first. And let me know. Okay, what are the gametes? How many gametes are we talking about?
8,
For one parent, not for both, one parent.
no, 4. 4.
4, that's right. Um,
Yeah.
I hope everybody agrees. Okay, big R, big Y, big R, small y, small r, big Y, small r, small y. Okay, same thing over here. Okay, so I just use a bar to separate the two parents. So how big will our Punnett square be? Well, I have 4 gametes on the top and 4 gametes on the side. So that is going to be a 4 by 4 table. So hold on. There we go. Nope, that's not what I want. There we go. Okay, so 5 columns actually, okay, and 5 rows. So 5 by 5. It's always one extra than what you need because you need to fill in the gametes here, right? Okay, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to put it on the side. Okay, and I know it takes some time for you to write it out as well. This is the last thing it will do. Four gametes by 4 gametes, that's 16 different combinations, okay? Can you take a look first, please, before you go on? So like this one and this one together, we're going to put big R, big R, big Y, big Y. Please put the R's and the Y's together. Don't alternate between the R and the Y. You're going to confuse yourself. Okay, next one here. Big R, big Y, small y. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes to fill it in. Just ask me questions if you have any. All right, I'm gonna fill in the rest. You can copy if you want, or you can finish it yourself and compare it with mine. Okay, those of you who understand this completely, please do me a favor and check my work because there are too many R's and Y's, and sometimes I misread them.
In here also, as you mentioned before, a capital one comes first, right?
Yep, capital
Okay.
goes first, but not like the different letters. Like we don't do it like that. Okay, the
Yeah,
same yeah, the same
I'm talking
letter.
about the same. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, if you have the answers and you got the same thing as me, let me know. Okay, let me know I'm doing the right thing.
I got the same thing. Yes.
That's comforting. Good. Anyone else? All right. Now, something like this is very hard to write the genotype. Okay, it's very hard to write a genotype. So I'm just gonna write the phenotype. Just gonna write the phenotype. All right. And for the phenotype, okay, on the test, read the question carefully. Okay, if they ask for genotype and phenotype, then you have to do both. Okay, but this one is I'm only gonna do phenotype. And if you have highlighters, this is a good time to use it. Okay, this over here, can someone tell me what the phenotype of this one is? What is that? Is it no, don't give me numbers. This particular one, is it round or is it wrinkle?
Round.
Okay, is it yellow or green?
Yellow.
That's right. This is round and yellow. I want you to find all the round and yellow on this table and highlight them. Okay, if you're not sure, just maybe use pencil, check it off first. Okay, so for example, like this one is also round and yellow, right? Okay, go highlight all the round and yellow and let me know how many. Okay, good. I'm getting some answers coming in. More than that, Shamin, look again, maybe. Anyone else? Okay, basically, we are looking for anything that has one big R and one big Y. If it has one big R, it will show up because big R is dominant, right? Do you see it? This one right here. This one is right here, right? So 9 in total. 9. 9. This is round and yellow, and it's 9 out of 16. Okay? 9 out of 16. Okay? Never mind the percent right now. Okay. If you want to convert into percent, I don't have my calculator with me, but it's 9 over 16, right? What's 9 over 16? Anybody have 9 over 16? Do you guys know how to convert from fraction to percent? It's 9 divided by 16, right? 56.25. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do another color. What is this one? What's the genotype? I mean phenotype. Phenotype. What does it look like? Please? What is it?
So it's round,
Mhm.
orange.
No, not orange. Don't get confused with the highlighter.
Okay, okay.
Round and green.
Green, yes, green. Green. Ricina, green, right? Look here. Because we,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And how many do we have? How many do we have? Okay. Please go find all round and green and
3.
tell me. Three, that's right. Right. Round and green right here. Round and green right here. All right. There we go. And that is 3 out of 16. 3 out of 16, which is 18.75. There you go. 18.75. Almost there. Okay. Almost there. What about this? Raincoat yellow. That's correct. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. MD, I interrupted you. Yeah. Um, Raincoat and yellow. And we have three of them, right? And what about the last one? Help me out with the last one, please. What is the last one?
Wrinkle and green.
That's right. Wrinkled and green. There we go. Which is 1 over 16, right? And that is 6 point, what, 25? 6.25. So listen, this is going to save you a lot of time for multiple choice questions. If the parents are heterozygous for both traits, if you find yourself in a situation where you have to do a 4x4 table and it's a multiple choice questions and you don't want to spend too much time, listen carefully. Okay? It forms a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1 ratio. 9, 3, 3, 1 ratio. Okay? This ratio is always going to show up if both parents are heterozygous for both of the traits. Okay, big A, big B, small b, for example. The most common phenotype will be dominant dominant. Okay? Brown and yellow are dominant, so it's not surprising it will show up most of the time. The 3 out of the 16 is one trait dominant, the other recessive. This one is the same thing, one trait recessive, the other dominant. And the most rare phenotype, because it always gets covered up, the most rare type is when both traits are recessive and recessive, right? How are you going to use this ratio? Okay, remember 9331. 9331. That should be your new password for your cell phone. 9331. How do we use it? Let's say we have mouse here. Mouse here, okay. And right here we have this one here. Okay. So let's just say, and I'll explain more later on. Okay, let's just say this one is little w, oh sorry, little g, big L, little g for white, big G for gray, Big L for long tail, little L for short tail. Okay. So this is the parent generation, P generation. Okay. Now, what do you think the F1 is gonna be? 100% what? What did I tell you? Is it gonna be gray or white? Gray or white? It's gonna be great. Gray color. It's gonna be gray color because if both parents are pure, then the dominant will show up. Okay. Long tail or short tail? Long tail. Big L, small. Okay, so that's not the difficult part. Now, if I take this one, cross it with this one, and then we're gonna get F2, and let's say we're gonna get like, 1,000 F2 mice. How many do you expect to have gray coat and short tail? Okay. How many do you expect to have gray coat and short tail? Gray coat, is gray coat dominant or recessive, guys? Is gray dominant or recessive?
Dominant.
Dominant. What about short tail? Dominant or recessive?
It's not dominant.
For short tail?
Yeah.
I think it's recessive, isn't it?
Recessive.
Yeah, look. Big L is long tail, right? Okay. Small L is, make sense? Okay. Now, you understand that, Tina? Recessive?
No, I already said it's not dominant.
Oh, you said not dominant. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so recessive. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
recessive.
this is recessive. Okay, recessive. Now, listen. Do I have to do the humongous table? I mean, you could, but if it's a multiple choice question, then you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to waste time. And you just have to remember the magic numbers, which are 9, 3, 3, 1. 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. And if I'm looking for dominant and recessive, remember this is DD, DR, RD, RR. So dominant and recessive means 3 out of 16. Right? 3 out of 16 of the offsprings should be gray and short. If I have 1,000 mice, multiplied by 1,000, what do you get? So 3 over 16 times 1,000 is going to be 187.5. Okay, so roughly 187-ish mice is going to be gray coat and short. Now, does that mean you're going to have exactly 187 or 188? Not really, okay? These are just percentage, right? Probability. It's like if you flip the coin 10 times, are you going to get exactly 5 heads and 5 tails? No. Okay? But probability-wise, you will get roughly near this number. The bigger your sample size, the more closely it's gonna get to the percentage. Do you understand how to use the 9331? Okay, you can only use it if the parents are heterozygous for both traits. Okay, otherwise you have no choice. You have to do the table. Okay, that's it for today. What you need to do is to work on the study guide. Okay, you already finished the quiz and the lab. You have nothing to do for my course. I'm sure you have other things to do for other courses, but you absolutely must work on the monohybrid problems and the dihybrid problems. Okay, do as many as you can. We'll do more to practice next class. Okay, but work them out. We can take up the ones that you don't know. Okay, so we have a couple more things to do here. We have to do incomplete dominance, codominance next class. We have to do sex link and then we will practice some more questions on the in the study guide and online. We probably might, I don't know, we might start number 9 next time. Okay, number 9 is like a killer. Number 9 is like the worst lesson of the whole course. So be prepared for that. I don't have time to take up the lab today, but before the exam, before the final test, I'll take it up so that you know how to answer the questions for the final. All right. That's it. Thank you. See you guys Wednesday.
Thank you. Have a nice day.